Hey guys, today let's talk about the first time home buyers process. If you are watching my video first time, I would like to mention I have sold more than 10,000 houses in last 10 years and have fantastic experience working with thousands of first time home buyers. So this information is going to help you if you are a new immigrant and are dreaming to buy your first house in Canada, or you are a young couple who just left their parents' house and wants to start their new life. This video is going to help you. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so that you can be notified for our next video. So first time home buyer process. What is the first thing you have to do when you're planning to buy the house? The first and most important thing is you have to make up your mind to buy the house. That is very, very important. So when you have made up your mind, let's talk a little bit about the down payment. I know there's a lot of misconception among people that we have to put minimum 20% down payment as a first time home buyer or at least 10% down payment. That is not the fact. You can actually buy the house with minimum 5% down payment as well. But there are certain rules which applies in Ontario. If the house value is above 500,000, then you have to pay 10% for any amount which is above 500,000. What does that mean? So 0 to 500,000 is 5%, so you're making 25,000 as a down payment, and 500,001 up to 1 million, you have to make 10% down payment. So I'll clarify this with another example. Let's say if you bought a house which is 700,000. So first 500,000 is 25,000 and rest 200,000. You have to make 10%, which is 20,000. So your total down payment is going to be 45,000, which is little above 6%. But these rule doesn't apply on any property which is above $1 million. You have to put minimum 20% down payment if you are buying any house which is over $1 million. Before you start looking for the houses, I would strongly recommend you to get your mortgage pre-approval. It is like you should know how much you qualify for. So that is very, very important piece of information. You have to look into it, as it will give you the direction to choose the kind of house which you are buying, the area, and it will be in kind of good information for your realtor so that he can work within your budget. So getting the mortgage pre-approval is very, very important. And there are few points which I would like to mention about your mortgage pre-approval. So there are certain factors on which the bank approves your mortgage. The first thing is your credit. Very, very important aspect of the credit is that it should be more than 680. But many banks these days favor or encourage new immigrants, and they are very flexible in case you don't have an established credit. But if you are in this country for last 5 or 10 years, then you need to have an established credit which is above 680 or more. Bank also look for your job history. If you have an established job from last couple of years, that definitely helps. But in case of new immigrants, banks are a little bit relaxed. They look for 3 to 6 months and a confirmed job. Also, I spoke about the down payment, so I just want to make it clear to you. The amount of the down payment should be in your bank account at least 90 days before you apply for the mortgage. Bank look for at least 3 months history of down payment in your bank. You can approach your bank where you are dealing or you have the bank accounts with, or you can approach any mortgage broker, as they have more flexibility and they are dealing with more lenders. So many times mortgage broker can fetch you a better rate what even a bank can offer, because they have access to many lenders. And another important aspect which can help you to choose the best house is having the best real estate agent. Sometimes we just go to a person who we know, or a friend or a family member. But that is not the good idea always. You have to make sure to deal with a realtor who is professional, who knows what he is doing. What you can do to qualify a realtor or to understand how they are the perfect fit for your first time home buying, you should interview them. Ask them as many questions as you can. Check with them how many houses they sold, what kind of activity they are doing in your neighborhood, and try to ask intelligent questions to check his vocabulary or his understanding about the real estate field. If you will talk to a real estate agent for 15 to 20 minutes, I promise you, you will get an idea how much knowledgeable that person is. And the most important, go with your gut. If you feel comfortable with a person, you should go with that, because your gut will never guide you in the wrong direction. It's always a good idea to make a wish list for the house which you are looking for and provide it to your realtor. But I just want to give you a note of caution when we are talking about wish list. Don't try to fulfill all your requirements, because believe me guys, it is not possible to fulfill your wish list by 100%. If you are up to 95% even, you are good to go. And I always recommend first time home buyers to be very realistic in their approach. I have got many cases where people come with ridiculous requirements and keeping the budget that low that that kind of property doesn't exist. I'll give you an example. Let's say if you're looking for a house in Mississauga close to Square One, 2,000 square feet house, detached, with finished basement and separate entrance for 300,000, trust me, you're never gonna get it. Please do let me know if you have any of that property. I'll be very happy to buy it. Now, a big topic of debate for first-time home buyers is either I should buy a condo or I should buy a house. Now, both of these have their own pros and cons. Let's talk about the condo first. First of all, in condos, there is a maintenance fees. It really doesn't make too much sense to pay high maintenance fees for a condo. Rather, I will recommend to go and buy a house which has no maintenance fees. Now, in condos, you don't have to clean the snow, you don't have to cut the grass, and there are a lot of amenities which you get in the building itself. So that of course is a positive point. Whereas in the house, you don't get those facilities over there. You have to have those facilities in an outdoor space, or you have to go to a recreation center if you are living in a house. Now, when it comes to the house, because you are not paying any maintenance fees over there, so if there is any maintenance expenses, that you have to do it from your pocket. So you have to have some reserve funds for maintaining your own property. The advantage what you get in buying a freehold townhouse or a semi or a detached house is many times you can rent out the basement and can make some extra income. Whereas in condo, it becomes little complicated to do that kind of rental arrangements over there. For the condo, it becomes little easier for a first-time home buyer to qualify for the mortgage because it has a low property value. Whereas in case of the house, because the values are little bit on the higher side, so you need some extra income to qualify for the mortgage. Now comes the most interesting and little frustrating part, is the house hunting. I would give you a note of caution. Don't try to look too many houses. You do your research, talk to your realtor, discuss your criteria, and be very clear on your requirement. Look for few of the houses, I would say 4 or 5, or at the max 8 to 10 properties, just to make up your mind as clear as you can. I'll tell you, you will like kitchen in one house, master bedroom in another, living bedroom in third house. Make a compiled list and discuss it with your realtor. And then comes the time when you're doing your refined search. Don't miss the property. If you like something, try to buy it, because it's an ongoing process. You might be thinking tomorrow something is going to be better than this. Of course, it is going to keep happening. But at some point of time, you have to make a call. As I said earlier, hunting for a house, going for the showing is very exciting, but it is equally frustrating as well if you go and try to look for too many houses. For a first-time home buyer, based on my experience, you should not look for more than 20 to 25 houses. It is a reasonable number of properties, and if you are working with a good realtor, you will definitely like something within your budget range and your first dream home in Canada. When you like a house, now comes the time of technical aspects, putting an offer on the property, doing all the paperwork. I'm pretty sure your realtor is going to guide you in the right direction. But I'll give you a few tips. It's very, very important for you as a first-time buyer to put the condition of financing and inspection of the property. Also, be a little thoughtful about the initial deposit, what you are putting over there, your possession date, and also don't forget to look for the appliances and fixtures which is included in the offer. So this condition of financing and inspection, in irregular circumstances, we as a realtor normally put it for 5 banking days. What does that mean? Let's say if you decide your offer on 10th of any month, so 5 banking days, it's gonna be in next 7 days. So your offer is valid until 17th of that particular month, and you have to send a notice to the seller fulfilling that condition. But it depends upon how the conditions are being drafted. So as far as the financing is concerned, in those days you have to approach your bank and ask for a firm commitment from them. In this financing condition, sometime bank, they look for the appraisal of the property if they are not sure about the value. If you are making more than 20% down payment, the appraisal of the property is must. Now you have to hire a professional inspector in those 5 business days and take him to the property and ask him to check everything thoroughly. But when I'm saying asking to check everything thoroughly, that doesn't mean they're gonna look for normal wear and tear. They look for the major aspect, either it is structural or it is any fault in plumbing, any electrical problem, or any major issue with the property. Of course, checking the roof is very, very important. Checking your air conditioner, furnace, all those stuff, you need to be very thorough and very careful about it. And don't forget to ask for a professional report from your inspector and try to read it before you finally sign on the dotted line, which we call as a waiver. Because once you sign the waiver at the property, your deal gets firm, and after that, it is your legal obligation to close the property. As I mentioned earlier, bank, they may ask for the appraisal for the property, especially if you are putting 20% down payment, the appraisal is must. Let's say, God forbid, you get the less value on the appraisal and your deal is firm. Now you have no choice than putting some extra money into your down payment to make sure the deal is closed. Once your deal gets firm, everything is done. Now you are patiently waiting for the final day when you are going to get the possession of that property. I know there's a lot of excitement there, but don't forget to have a pre-closing inspection in your excitement. It is very, very important to go and check the property 1 or 2 days before the closing. Majority of the times, your closing happens 30 to 60 days after you have made the deal firm. In those 30 or 60 days, you don't want the property to be damaged. Of course, there's a normal wear and tear. So it's always a good idea to go and check the property a day before the closing and ensure all the appliances are working, everything is all intact, and it is the seller's responsibility to give you the possession of the property the same condition, the way you saw it when you bought the house. As a first-time buyer, you might not know you have to have a lawyer to close the deal who is going to give you the final keys on the day of possession, and it is the lawyer's responsibility to ensure all the financial aspects are being taken care. So you have to give your down payment to lawyer, and the lawyer get the money from the bank for the mortgage, and on the day of closing they send all the money to the seller's lawyer, and seller's lawyer send the keys to your lawyer, and you're gonna get the keys. And another important piece of information, the day of closing is the responsibility of the buyer. Either it is utilities or it's your property taxes. So your lawyer makes that adjustment, and you're gonna see all those details in statement of adjustment at lawyer's place. Closing cost is an equal important aspect as of down payment. I will give you a rule of thumb. Let's say if you have bought something for 800,000, you have to have the closing cost, which is approximately 2% of the purchase price. Now, what does that closing cost cover? That covers your title search, title insurance, land transfer tax, and your lawyer's fees. There are certain rebates or benefits which you get as a first-time home buyer. I'm not including those benefits into this closing cost, but I'm just giving you this number on the higher side so that you can be comfortable. If you are buying any property in Toronto, your closing cost can be a little bit on the higher side, as the land transfer tax in Toronto is almost double than the normal case. So be prepared for that if you are buying any property in Toronto. Before we move further on this video, I want to let you know Team SaveMax is there to help you. I have put a form there in the description. You can fill up your details and we can get connected. As a first-time home buyer, you get certain benefits. Either it is your land transfer tax, which is approximately $4,000 credit, which you get as a first-time home buyer. So that $4,000 amount is total. That doesn't mean if there are two people on title, both will get $4,000. It is $4,000 in total. On the other side, as a first-time home buyer, you can withdraw $35,000 from your RRSP without any tax implication, and you can use that money into your down payment. If you have a spouse who is a purchaser on the deal with you, this amount goes to $70,000, $35,000 each. So these are two big benefits which you get as a first-time home buyer. And of course, when you are dealing with Team SaveMax, we make sure we get you the best property and the house which you love. SaveMax team has an extensive experience working with first-time home buyer, and we are there to help you to make sure your first move becomes the most memorable move of your life. And I promise you, don't expect anything less than the best from Team SaveMax. I am sure you might have many other questions in your mind. If there is anything which you want, any clarification, don't hesitate to put in the comments box, and I promise you, I will get back to you as soon as I can. I am sure you might have liked this information and this video. If that is the case, please subscribe and press the bell icon and share this video with your friends and family members. Maybe it helps them to get some additional information.